Copier dealer. Contact them at 844-POWER-BZ or visit them at powercopiers.com. Here's your host, Scott Marsh, alongside the high flyer, Henry Turner.
And a very pleasant good evening to you. Welcome inside Golden One Center. It's game night coming to you live right here on Sactown Sports 1140. Scott Marsh, not with the high flyer tonight. He's a little under the weather. We hope that the high flyer feels better. So joining me, Jason Ross. And Jay Ross, we've done this a couple of times. We're old pros at this. We'll take everybody until 6:30. You'll have Kings pregame live at 6:30. And then G-Man with the call at 7 o'clock tonight. It's game 2 of the 6-game homestand. The Jazz are in town tonight. Sacramento coming off the 128-123 win against Oklahoma City on Thursday. De'Aaron Fox, of course, another 40-plus point game for him. But we did learn in Mike Brown's pregame presser just a few minutes ago, De'Aaron Fox with that shoulder injury that he suffered in the game on Thursday will not play tonight for Sacramento, Jay.
I was watching some of the footage, Scott, of him yesterday at the Kings bowling event.
Yes.
I'm like, he's slinging that. I'm like, he's going to be good to go. It's unfortunate, but you obviously want to get him better, get him right. He's playing so great this year. Personally, I'm just bummed because I like to watch Fox play. I mean, they can win without him. Obviously, it's more difficult, but I just enjoy watching De'Aaron Fox play.
No question. It was an epic matchup on Thursday between him and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Both of them went for over 40 points. Shai had 43. De'Aaron had 41. The Kings really needed all of those as Oklahoma City made a late run in that game. Kings were up comfortably. It got a little nerve-wracking at the end, but the Kings held on.
Quality win, though. It's a great way to start this homestand, which I think is more difficult than people realize. Even tonight, look, any team you're playing can beat you. People will look at the Jazz record, but I think, Scott, it was so important to get off to a good start, to beat a team that had a better record than you, that was playing well. And, you know, we say it's really early in the year, but, you know, tiebreakers can happen.
Oh, yeah.
And so now you're 2-0 on OKC. There's still more matchups to go, but I think all these things, not only does it give you a win, gives them a loss, helps in the tiebreaker, but the Kings played well, and it was coming off a game where they didn't. So it's been a little bit of this up and down. I'd like to see kind of go on an up scale here for a while.
No question. Now, of course, Mike Brown was asked who would start for De'Aaron tonight. He wouldn't commit to it. Jason Anderson from the B, hypothetically saying that maybe it'd be Keon Ellis. It wouldn't be a bad choice because Keon had a career night on Thursday night.
Fun to watch, fun to be the other part of what we always say is how you get better as a team. People want to say, trade this player. You can get better by trading. You can get better by free agency. You can get better by drafting. But then it's also player development. And Keon is a player they drafted, they've groomed. He's worked through summer leagues, through the G League, got an opportunity to play with this team. And he hasn't let go of that. And that's all credit to him and those that work with him, because he's a bigger version of Davion. He defends well. I feel like any bonus offense, anything he scores is a bonus offensively. And he was super efficient, made his shots, got into a groove, and they couldn't take him off the court. So I love seeing guys have career nights.
Yeah, he was fantastic. By the way, our pregame press conference brought to you by Folsom Lake Honda. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Keon, what did you like most about his numbers? Was it the career high 17? Was it the career high 5 threes? Or was it the block shot that he got recorded against Shai Gilgeous?
Yeah, the block shot was pretty impactful and meaningful in the game, but I think I'll still go to the big number of the 5 threes because I don't think of him necessarily, Scott, as a shooter, but it doesn't mean he can't shoot. And still, this team's strength, I think if we look at this year and the up and down part of it, when they're up, most of the games they play well, they shoot the ball well, and that's including beyond the arc. And for him to add on to that, I think they hit maybe 18 as a team, and he hit 5 of them. That's just an added bonus. So to me, it was that, though the block was really important in the win.
It was awesome. And to do it against a player, the caliber of SGA just speaks about where Keon Ellis is at. And, you know, Davion Mitchell is a terrific defensive player. There's no doubt about that. He's earned the nickname Off Nights, and certainly on-ball defense, tremendous. So when we're talking about Keon Ellis and we're talking about Mike Brown talking about Keon being such a great defensive player, that's in the context of he's playing now in front of Davion Mitchell. So it tells you how much Mike Brown thinks about Keon Ellis.
Yeah, for sure. And I think he's impressed him. This is not just in games. This has got to be in practice. But let's flip this now, Scott, and talk about Davion. So Davion tonight's going to get some run in some way, shape, or form.
Yep.
And that's the way this league works. He could be tremendous tonight. And maybe he starts a run of, wow, you know what? Really, Davion needs to be on the floor. So that's the way the league works. You got to take advantage of your opportunities. No one wants to see De'Aaron Fox out for a long period of time. And I don't know that that's the case with this shoulder injury, but he is out tonight. So that means opportunity for others. And whether it's Keon, whether it's Davion, or anyone else, Duarte, Colby Jones, whoever else they kind of utilize more, I hope they take advantage of it.
Yeah, no doubt. To finish up on De'Aaron, his numbers from Thursday night, 14 of 23. He was 5 of 11 from distance, 8 of 11 from the line for those 41 points. Also had 7 assists, a couple of steals. Now he did have 6 turnovers in the game as well. Yeah, but that's minor point there. But Shai Gilgeous, the battle of Kentucky guards, 13 of 27, 16 of 18 from the line, 9 assists. And honestly, when you watch those two players play, I was really thinking that this could potentially be an MVP type matchup. I mean, pitting against each other. I don't think either one's going to win it this year per se, but they're going to be in the conversation. Shai Gilgeous was first team All-NBA last year. De'Aaron is trending towards potentially being a first team All-NBA this year.
Yeah, sometimes you have to kind of get on the list first before you jump all the way up to the top of that list. And I think both those guys have done it. And watching them play, watching them score, they both score in kind of the same way that they get to where they want to. And for Shai, it's a little bit more all the way to the basket or that running floater to the, he just has good control of his game and got a ton of free throw attempts, capitalized on most of those. And Fox, Scott, for 41, he had 3 after the first quarter.
Exactly.
And just picks his spots. He's been third quarter Fox the last couple of games. Certainly was there when they needed him in the fourth, and they'll miss him tonight for sure.
Yeah, and Shai Gilgeous, he had 14 in the first quarter, and Shai Gilgeous actually leads the league in first quarter scoring.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. You've got first quarter Shai, you've got fourth quarter Fox.
Yeah, and I know, look, they're Coach Dagnall's very good. I think it's interesting the way he plays them. He plays them the entire first and the entire third. So he's sitting out probably most half of the second quarter and a good chunk of the fourth. And when he was out in the early fourth, that's when the Kings started to flip that game around a little bit or get a little bit more control of it. So, each coach does what they think is best for their team. On that night, we talk about the Pelicans a lot being a problem for the Kings. It feels like the Kings now are a problem for the Thunder. They have more wins against them in a row than anybody. That's 8 in a row over them.
No doubt. And obviously, Mark Dagnall, it's 0 for California right now. He's like 0 of 7, 1 of 10 against the Kings. Fox this year averaging 30 points, 4.5 rebounds, 6.5 assists, shooting 47.5% from the field, 39% from 3, 6th in the leading scoring, behind Embiid, Doncic, Giannis, SGA, and Durant.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's the elite of the elite.
And that he's on that list, and it looks you watch him every night too. Doesn't it look easy for De'Aaron? It really looks like he's in total control of everything he's doing, and he can have that where you're like, De'Aaron's not having a really good night. And then by the end of the night, you're like, there he is, 30, 35, maybe even 40 points.
No doubt. Monk, another 18 off the bench. He was fabulous. And last year, of all the awards the Kings got, the one they didn't get and didn't even get on the top 3 ladder was 6th man of the year, which was disappointing. And I think, if anything, right now, the one they may get before anything else would be 6th man of the year, Malik Monk.
And Mike Brown, we know he pushed those other awards last year, and well-deserving as far as what Fox meant, how he should be an all-star, how they should have 2 all-stars. Then he kept saying how they should have 2 all-NBA players. He's putting that out into existence about Malik. And Malik's been terrific this year. And you talk to people that's like, well, maybe they should start, Barnes is struggling or Herter's struggling. They should start Malik. Coach, I don't even think remotely thinks about that. I think he likes him in his role. He clearly provides a spark. And more times than not, if Barnes or Herter or Murray, 3 of those starters are off, he'll play Monk more minutes anyway. So Monk's giving him results. His playmaking, his assist total, and then certainly his scoring has just really boosted this team.
Yeah, he's been awesome. Points in the paint in that game. Well, the Thunder did outscore the Kings as we take a look at our points in the paint segment. Thunder 62, Kings 50. That's brought to you by our good friends at RT Painting, your reliable and trusted painter in the Sacramento market since 1998. Wasn't a huge factor in the game, obviously, but
it's been a problem though.
It has been at times, for sure. It has been. Holmgren didn't really have a dominant game by any stretch, and I think in part when SGA is getting 43, and he probably scored 30 of those in the paint, it might be a little one-sided in that respect.
Yeah, they didn't have anybody else really near double figures at halftime, but then Giddey got going. Dort started hitting some threes.
Let me ask you on Giddey. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I was thinking Giddey's game, to me, it looks like he plays more in slow-mo than slow-mo himself.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I just it felt like he was just moving at like an glacier ice pace. But he got everywhere he needed to. He obviously came up in the second half, and he had to contend with all the booing throughout the game and all of that.
I got to say, I wasn't ready for that.
No, I didn't expect it either. Yeah.
You were working with OKC, and you said that that's been following. I mean, I understand. I'm not judging the fans on that. I just think I wasn't quite ready that was going to happen. I guess it's happened to him everywhere on the road.
Yeah. So, but he fought through it. He had a nice second half.
He did. He helped. That's where I think they looked more complete, because honestly, watching him a couple times in person, you could tell SGA is terrific. But they're the number 2 seed, or were the number 2 seed coming into the game, and had a terrific record. And I just didn't think a lot of their complementary players played that well in the first half. Now, as the game went along, it went better. Then you go, okay, I could see a more complete team. And I'm going to stand on this still, Scott, with all the draft choices that they have, draft selections coming forward, and how young their roster is, and really many movable pieces. I don't know if they really have a game plan for a year or 2 or 3 from now. I think they could strike now and really make a difference. That roster is good.
Would you make a move this year?
I would really think about it. I mean, look, I think most people naturally say Denver's the team to beat. I get it. Well, Minnesota's the top seed. Phoenix, another injury again to Bradley. There's just a lot of other things going on, and I think there's a window there for someone that makes the right move that could really elevate their team. And I know we're talking about that at times with Sacramento, and I believe the Kings might do something like this too. But when names like Siakam and Levine and guys like that are being mentioned, well, imagine one of those guys on OKC all of a sudden, that you kept Shea and you give up some picks. I think that team could make a significant leap.
There's no question, and salary cap isn't an issue for them with all the movable pieces and draft picks they have. I think the one thing we did learn is that if the Kings are going to go after Pascal Siakam or OG Anunoby, it's not going to involve Keegan Murray. It sounds like Monte McNair has put his line in the sand. We'll talk about that more when we come back. Kings win on Thursday night. They get the homestand off to a great start. They win the first of 6 straight here. It's Utah coming in. We'll focus in on the Jazz as well. It's game night. It's being brought to you by National Garage Door. Call today for your basketball special. Call 916-638-4554. Or if game night right here, Sactown Sports 1140.
Harrison Barnes plays here.
Harrison Barnes drives it, hammers it. The Black Falcon soaring into the night sky on a Monday evening in Northern California.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
For today's show and tell, I present my phone. It's made with glass and various metals I can't pronounce. It's powered by Xfinity Mobile, so my family saves big. Take a handout.
Colin, what are these?
I'm quizzing the class on the material.
Switch to Xfinity Mobile and save hundreds a year with the best price for 2 lines of unlimited. Just $30 a line a month. Visit XfinityMobile.com to learn more. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Unlimited intro service and Xfinity Internet required. Taxes and fees extra. Reduced speeds after 20 gigabytes of usage. Data thresholds may vary.
Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with primetime football. It's back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game in high-hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game, offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region, and conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com, and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Jerry and Kenny here from Bell Brothers, the No Surprise guys. We love that old song, Respect. You know, RESPECT. It's a good song and a good business philosophy. At Bell Brothers, everything we do is designed to show respect for our customers. We show up on time out of respect. Our technicians are clean-cut, friendly, and wear identification badges out of respect. We do good deeds for free for our customers and leave their homes cleaner than we found them. That's right, out of respect. So, if you want plumbing and AC service from a company that will show you some RESPECT, call Bell Brothers. We promise to respect your time, your home, and you. Call Bell Brothers right now to schedule an $87 precision tune-up. Or call if you have plumbing problems. Our number is 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Welcome back in the game night right here, Sactown Sports 1140. Scott Marsh along with Jason Ross tonight. The high flyer a little bit under the weather. We hope he's flying high here on Monday, feeling better. Take care of yourself. Henry, we've got you covered. We'll take you until 6:30 today, and then it'll be Kings Live pregame. 7 o'clock tip, G-Man with the call. As we went into the break, Jason, we were talking about the trade possibilities, and certainly OKC is a team that's got plenty of cap space. They've got draft picks. They've got everything they could do if they want to upgrade this year. It'll be interesting if they're still on the long-term plan or not. Of course, for the Kings, a lot of trade talk, especially when we've seen some of the lopsided losses. I think there's a lot of panic on Tuesday. Now, the first thing we haven't talked about, but the Kings did make a move, of course. Juan Toscano Anderson has been signed. Mike Brown talking about him in the pregame presser. He's very familiar with him, of course, coached him in Golden State. He's won a championship with the Warriors, and he's been out of the league just at the beginning of this year. But
yeah, what were some of the things he was saying?
Just how he's a great communicator on defense, a guy who brings maturity. Interested to see how he will play right now since he hasn't been playing currently. But I think he's a guy who just adds that experience and depth. If I was kind of reading through it, it's a guy who can come in off the bench when things aren't necessarily going right, and you know that the energy is going to be with him at all times, right? He's going to pick it up, and you're not going to have to worry necessarily about falling further behind. I think he's a guy who thinks he can stabilize things and just will be another presence in practice that will help them maybe get through some of the highs and lows.
We also know the little history that we now have, a year plus of Mike Brown, is he's not afraid to try anything too. So if Juan Toscano Anderson comes in and is deeper in the rotation, he's not afraid to put him in if he feels he needs something. So I think, or is it a move for a further move down the line? You just don't know with this team, with this organization, but more bodies, and they had a spot open. It doesn't hurt the team.
Exactly. They didn't lose anything at all by doing it. And I feel like the fact, because there is that connection with him and Mike Brown, that maybe that makes it feel like this might be something a little bit more realistic. Now, of course, he hasn't been in the league, and there's a reason for that too. So, I don't think anybody's going to have him come in and expect him to change the fortunes of the team.
No, and he had, look, we got other references last year. He had connections to former UC Davis, Aggie, Chime Monecki, and then KZ Okpala. Okpala started the year last year as the starter in this lineup. Now, Keegan Murray had the hurt thumb the first game or two, but still, those were guys he was getting some early season run by the end of the year. They weren't on the roster, but, it's another look at another player.
No doubt. And I think, obviously, there's been chirping, at least amongst some fans and just around the edges, about where Harrison Barnes might fit in long term, right? And you mentioned about Keegan's health, although he looks completely healthy at the moment, but just having another person in that position that can help. And you're talking about future moves. I mean, if Harrison is moved, like there has been the trade rumors swirling around this team, who knows how that might all shake out. One interesting thing, and I don't think it's coming as any sort of shock to you or me, but according to league source, talking with Jason Anderson with the B earlier, saying that the Kings see Murray as a foundational piece. They're unwilling to include him in any trade talks. Obviously, there's been mention with Toronto. Speculation is they're going to try and move Siakam or OG Anunoby. And of course, right now with the Bulls and everything going on with Zach LaVine, he's not playing. The Bulls seem to be playing better without him. All these teams that right now are feeling like they are low-level play-in teams or not even in that scenario are going to get in the discussion. But I don't see the Kings offering Keegan Murray, but we have to always think back, because I didn't think the Kings would offer Tyrese Halliburton in a trade either. So I don't know, just because a league source says that Keegan Murray is a foundational piece, that sets it in stone that Keegan Murray or anybody else for that matter is unmovable.
Yeah, I think we've done this long enough to know that I think no one is safe. But I mean, I think there's no intentions of moving Sabonis, but no intentions of moving Fox. Yeah. Probably none of Murray either. But if you get a deal that you think makes your team better, you really have to evaluate it. But just on the surface, Scott, now that you've seen these first quarter of the season games, because I had this conversation with a couple different people, I don't even necessarily have a player in mind, but do you have something you think they need more? Playmaker, wing defender, rebounder, shot. I mean, just without attaching a name to it, what do you think the team need is?
If I didn't attach a name to it, but a characteristic, they need toughness.
That's fair.
They need toughness. They still need somebody who can go in and be an enforcer and a guy who you rely on for rebounding consistently. Somebody who can come in off the bench, whether it's 10 to 12 minutes or whatever else, but that guy is going to be your tough guy. I don't mean your hockey enforcer or something like that, but just somebody, as JaVale McGee's come in and he's blocked shots and he's changed tempo, he's not really a tough guy per se. And I just feel like the Kings are still exploited. We've seen that obviously with the Pelicans and what's happened so far this year. You look at the teams like the Lakers. I don't know if I'd put the Clippers in that same mold, although with the trades they made, getting Daniel Tice and with Zubac's back and Plumlee's going to come back.
They played physically against the Kings the
exactly. So that's the one piece I feel like the Kings still need. Can JTA bring some of that? Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
some. I feel like the guy that's closest off the bench is Lyles, but I mean, he's still undersized for that. And
he's not really a tough guy, although he likes to be a tough. He likes to mix it up. But I don't feel like he's a banger inside.
Yeah. So, I mean, I could see that. I mean, I still sometimes look at, like, do you go to even more of, like, naturally everyone's going to go, look, this isn't the best defensive team. They need more perimeter defense. I don't even think that's a wrong thought. But do you lean into, hey, what are they best at? Well, they're pretty good shooting, pretty good offense, like another shooter, another offensive player.
Yeah.
Do you become elite at that? I mean, I think the thought of being a GM is a lot of fun for you and I, but when it's really done in practice, when it really has to be done, you're now making decisions on future contracts, the core of your team, upsetting chemistry. These aren't easy decisions to make.
No, they're not. And, I threw out a few names, obviously, with Toronto and Chicago. Some speculation tonight, a guy who might be on the floor, Lauri Markkanen, could be available. And obviously he's an all-star caliber player. He should play tonight. He did not play on Thursday. The Jazz beat the Blazers. The Jazz have won a couple straight. But somebody like a Lauri Markkanen, boy, that would be awfully interesting. Now the price to pay might just be too extreme for somebody of that caliber.
And what's interesting on what Utah's done so far in some of their moves, moving on Donovan Mitchell and moving on Gobert, they got themselves a treasure chest of picks. That's kind of been an avenue they're going. I would say, Scott, the one thing, the Kings' best asset, still besides their talent, they have their picks for the most part here going forward. So, Utah would be a team I think might still be looking for more picks. OKC might be, these are kind of teams that are going that route. Whereas Toronto, I just feel like Toronto's not going to back off at Keegan Murray. So that would make me less hesitant of giving up someone like that. So it's interesting on what the Kings value and where they think if they got a really quality player and kept a lot of their core group, maybe they're willing to give up draft picks.
No question. Now, let me ask you, because right now the Kings are at a pace at 14-9. They were hovering right around 48 wins like last year, right around that 47 to 50 wins. That's not good enough for this team. That's been stated by Mike Brown. It's not about getting back to where they were. It's about getting, obviously they want to win a championship, but at the minimum, it's about improving upon last year. Do you feel like this team can improve upon where they are from last year, where they're at currently?
I feel like they can, because I don't feel like they've hit their ultimate potential. Part of that's been that up and down inconsistency. But I think what we'd have to figure out is that who the team is? Like, are we going to go in another 20 games? And, well, now it's halfway through, and there's been good wins, bad losses, more blowouts. I don't like some of the trends they've had with the high volume of blowouts. They've already had 3 blowout losses this year when they had 4 all of last year. They've lost to the same team multiple times, so they're having some trouble with similar type teams. Those are the trends that I don't like, but maybe sometimes it's just time to get that better. They've had a few more injuries than a year ago, but that's the reality of the league. I think last year they got the huge benefit of that. That's why I think it's a really slippery slope to try to decide how to make the team better, whether you got to make that move or not.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I don't think they've got to do anything, and Monty has shown that he's not a guy who's going to make just a move to make a move. So it'll be interesting. And obviously the trade deadline's in February. We'll see if they do something before then. And obviously if you're playing the long game, this could be something that stretches out into the offseason as well. All right, game night continues. When we come back, we'll go around the league. We'll take a look at some of the other things going on. One of the 3 worst teams in the league broke a losing streak last night, and it was against the Lakers. We'll talk about that. We'll also get into John Morant. He's going to be returning here pretty soon. Draymond's out, Ja back in. We'll talk about that as well. It's game night, being brought to you by Power Business Technology. Experience how the Power family can help your business office equipment needs today. Contact them at 844-POWER-BZ or go to powercopiers.com. More of game night right here, Sactown Sports 1140.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, a breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
iPhone 15 Pro on Verizon.
It's your last chance to trade in any iPhone in any condition for the new iPhone 15 Pro with titanium and iPad and Apple Watch SE, all on us with Unlimited Ultimate. Go to your local Verizon store now. iPhone requires Unlimited Ultimate plan first. Service plan required for iPad and Apple Watch. $999.99 device payment or full retail purchase with new smartphone line required first. Less $1,000 trade-in/promo credit. Up to $459.99 device payment purchase with new line on eligible plan required per Apple Watch or iPad. Less up to $459.99 promo credit per device applied. 0% APR. Additional terms and conditions apply.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. So minivans, sedans, JDMs, roll out. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. And with eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Chad, what's happening for Chrysler's Wrap Up the Year sales event?
This month, you can save up to $16,500 off MSRP on 2023 Ram 1500 crew cabs. With over 600 new Ram trucks available, your perfect new truck is waiting for you at the Hoblet Ram Truck Center. Plus, no payments for 90 days.
Okay, but what about the last of the Dodge Chargers and the Challengers?
This month, save up to $5,000 off MSRP and get 0% financing for 72 months on the 2023 Dodge Charger SXTs and Challenger GTs with no payments for 90 days.
The savings and financing won't last long. Search, select, and save at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
16,500 total net savings after 10,261 factor rebates and 6,239 dealer discount. Sample VIN 699,991. Rebates include 1,000 case equipment cash. Must have purchased qualifying case equipment from authorized dealer and 500 first responder cash for members of eligible First Responder Association only. No payments for 90 days on approved credit through Chrysler Capital. 5,000 total net savings after 5,000 dealer discount. Plus 0% financing for 72 months on approved credit through Chrysler Capital. Equals $1,389 per thousand borrowed. 10 of this net savings. See dealer for details.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
No look, Bibby to Weber, down the lane, flying jam. There's your play of the night right there. It's inside is Sabonis, a two-hand rip, a brilliant pass from De'Aaron Fox.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sactown Sports.
Welcome back into game night right here, Sactown Sports 1140. Scott Marsh, along with Jason Ross, in for the high flyer Henry Turner. Henry getting better, not feeling great tonight, so we wish him good health, and we hope to see him back on Monday. Jay, you and I went through a photo shoot there during the break. I just wanted to get a picture. I wanted to put us up. You know, they do the light, the beam.
Oh, yeah, you get up there a lot.
Yeah, so I try to put one up every night.
Oh, okay.
To, it's
that better get up. I haven't been up there yet.
Yeah, I wanted a picture with you and myself up there. So we'll see. We'll keep looking at the video board here.
Put up.
I put the one of Dell's thumb up here.
Okay.
Dell, one of our stat guys, does a great job. Didn't realize that the camera has a lens on it.
Yeah.
But his thumb is pretty. I will give him credit for that.
All right, I'm going to look for this now. We better get up there.
He did offer red licorice too, but I'm not.
That's true.
Are you a licorice person? Because I'm not.
I am, but
red or black doesn't matter.
Nah, probably red.
Okay,
yeah, red.
Yeah, I don't know. I've just never liked licorice. So, but it was a
not
nice
something
offer.
I purchase, but if it's offered, usually I do. But we're doing the show.
I appreciated it. All right, let's go around the league. We'll get into the Jazz in a little bit because they do have some people missing themselves. We'll touch on that in the next segment. But let's go around and get caught up on everything else going on in the association. There were several games last night, as we touched on beforehand. The Spurs broke an 18-game losing skid as they beat the Lakers at home. It was the second game of their back-to-back home series in San Antonio. They win 129-115. AD didn't play in that game. And Wemby didn't really have a huge game either. He had 13 points and 15 rebounds. Vassell had a big game, 36 points for the Spurs. LeBron played 23, 7 rebounds, 14 assists. But finally the Spurs broke that jinx. So there's two teams with terribly bad losing streaks in this league. And I think Wizards won too.
Wizards beat the Pacers
so it's
yesterday.
Just Detroit now. So, but are you surprised the Spurs have been this bad?
Yeah, after they were 3-2, there was a lot of talk on how great they were. I mean, okay, I don't know that they're great, but it was off to a good start. Wembanyama was having an impact, and he's still going to be great. He's still going to be a fun player, but I think the overall team impact that he has had has not been what other great rookies of the past have had. So the fact that they split that with the Lakers, the first one, LeBron didn't play, and AD was great.
Yep.
LeBron was pretty good last night, but without AD, it was too much. So little isolated win. And I kind of said all along, Scott, that, in this West, it's so packed. What could be the difference is how some of the teams 1 through 10, 12 play against the bottom teams.
Yeah.
And, if the Spurs, like early on, got the 2 wins against Phoenix, that's something over time that could hurt the Suns as you kind of add them all up at the end. Now here's one for the Spurs over the Lakers. So if you're the Kings, you want to make sure you get as many as you can when you play the Spurs and teams that are near the bottom there in the West.
Yeah, we'll get into the Suns and Bradley Beal. Unfortunate turn of the ankle for him. AD, obviously he had that huge in-season Cup championship game, 40, 20, and 5. I mean, the only people who put up those numbers in Lakers history, Wilt and Elgin Baylor. So it was a historic night, although his stats don't count for him because it was game 83.
Yeah.
AD's played well since. Do you feel like he said that he thought that's a game that's going to propel him into becoming the AD everybody's accustomed to? Do you buy that, or do you think it's just a few games of momentum based on that one game and he'll go back to kind of being the AD who's great sometimes and mediocre others?
If I'm going to pick a lane, I'm picking the second one, the latter one. Look, we've seen him play the Kings a couple times. There's stats still out there that Sabonis is 8-0 against him. Sabonis is a terrific player, but every time I hear leading defensive player of the year is Anthony Davis, this guy's a top 5 player, some nights, not enough for me.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really good, but he doesn't do it enough. And then he gets hurt sometimes too, which, that's unfortunate. But I just think there's I wouldn't say he's totally up and down, but there's some nights he's just not dominant.
Yeah, agreed. He's got to prove it over time and be consistent over 82 games. We'll see if he's able to do that. All right, now with Brad Beal, and I'm always confused. You can correct me. Is it Brad Beal or Bradley Beal?
I've always heard it as Bradley, but, if you
I heard a lot of Brad Beal, too.
Yeah.
I thought it was Bradley Beal, at least to begin with. And either way, unfortunately, because he just came back, he turned his ankle severely in the loss at home to New York last night. I have not heard an update today on the timeline for him. He did that in the first quarter, did not return in that game. And it's just when the Suns are getting all big three back and healthy, and it blows up in their face, at least for one night.
Yeah, I think one of the reports I saw today might be at 3 weeks again for him.
Yeah.
So you just go, my goodness. They can't get that group together. And look, those 3 are tremendous. I think the roster overall is a little bit thin. I do think they're going to miss Ayton and Chris Paul over the long term.
Yeah. How about Mikal Bridges,
and
Cam Johnson,
just other people they had, that they had to give up to get the talent that they do have. But you do that to have the 3 best players play as close to 82 games as possible. And now they've played 1+ or maybe it's 2+ games together. I mean, that's brutal. And still ended up losing last night. And Brunson went nuts for the Knicks.
50-point night for Brunson. It was amazing as the Knicks won 139-122. Brunson, obviously, he was an all-star last year. He is another guy who has just put himself up into that stratosphere of definitely deserving all-NBA consideration.
Yeah, he's, I thought it was a good signing by the Knicks, but it's been better than I thought it would be. He's really been a terrific player for them and been fun to watch, and obviously been their best player, even with a guy like Randall there and a few other good players, but he's been a really good fit for them.
He has been a great fit. All right, 76ers continue to Pistons woes. as Philadelphia blew out Detroit last night, 124-92. The Pistons, as you pointed out when we did this broadcast a week or so ago, they started out 2-1. They've lost 22 straight now. Embiid went for 35, 13, and 4. They're 4 games away from tying the regular season streak for most losses consecutive. That's at 26. Did they reach it? Did they break it?
They got to add one more today. They've already played. It's already over.
Whoa, okay.
Do you want to know the numbers?
So
Milwaukee,
they're 23.
146, Detroit 114.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not only are they losing, they're just getting completely blown out.
Yeah. Awful.
Yeah.
Just awful. Not competitive. Monty Williams, he's year one of a 6-year deal. And look, there's a long way to go.
And he's got that massive contract too.
Yeah. So, man.
It's ugly. It's ugly in Motown. And there's nothing to indicate that they're not going to break that record.
No, and it makes you wonder, like, look, you've got some things that you think you want to build upon, but Scott, when you lose this many games, I'm sure they're questioning everything in Detroit. Cade Cunningham's a terrific young player. They're hoping Ivy is. They've added and tried other things. The amount of lottery picks they have on their team, too, between Jalen Duren, Marvin Bagley, James Wiseman, even if it's guys that are, maybe didn't prove it to be great lottery picks. And it just makes you reevaluate every single thing that you're doing right now.
Yeah, no doubt. So the record is held by both the Cavs and the Sixers. The Cavs lost 26 in the same season in 2010. The Sixers lost 26 in a row, 2013, 2014. And then the Grizz, Nuggets, and Bobcats all lost 23 in a row in between the time span mid-90s to early 2010s. How about for the Sixers? Were you surprised Daryl Morey got the extension through 2027?
For sure. That one stuck out to me. And maybe he got it because they got rid of James Harden. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
it's turned out pretty well for them right now.
You're
Maxey's playing like an all-star. Tobias Harris is playing better. Embiid has not lost anything whatsoever.
A little surprised. Obviously, that team they're one of those teams that's, literally in the picture of it, they've had success. But if you're being measured on championships, they're missing that. They've got to start advancing farther. The top of the East is pretty tough, and they're one of those tough teams too. But all I know is back to Detroit. I hope they've got a couple of wins before the Kings face them. I just don't like teams that are on that long of a streak.
Yeah, you don't want to be that team where anybody's on that thing where they could be breaking records.
They're going to beat somebody.
Yeah,
It's
the
gonna
motivation
happen.
factor is too good for sure. And then, as you mentioned, Washington did win last night too. They beat the Pacers 137-123. Kuzma and Poole both went for 30+ in that game. Of course, Washington will be here on Monday.
Yeah.
The Wizards are just 4-20 themselves. They've been terrible this year.
They actually had a worse point differential. I think it was actually the league worst, below the Spurs and the Pistons going into yesterday's game, but they win. Pistons now lose last night, get thumped today. They'll be the leader there. But Washington's really bad. They're not stopping anybody right now.
They're a terrible team. I remember they came in here and beat the Kings last year, but that was a different roster. I mean, Porzingis just came back. Beal was still on that roster. Kuzma was there.
Yeah.
I mean, it felt
Kuzma
like
had a big game,
he
too.
did. It felt like a legitimate roster for the Wizards. It doesn't feel that way to me right now.
No.
Last night, the Celtics improved to 13-0 at home, beat a very good Magic's team. Boston, that golden year when they won the championship in '86, they went 40-1 at home.
Mm-hmm.
Can they break it this year?
I don't think they can break it because that'd be.
Can they tie it?
I don't think they'll do that either. But they are terrific, so good. Obviously at home. Every time I watch them too, I love their top 7. After that, it's a little bit thinner. But if you don't get hurt, you can play with depth. And if most of those guys are there, they're going to have their chance to compete. I didn't love the Marcus Smart trade, but right now, that's working out for him. Getting Porzingis too has been a nice move, and it's all working.
And of course, when they made the Marcus Smart trade, they didn't have Drew Holiday yet either. So it looks a lot better.
Yes,
knowing that you've got Drew Holiday there.
Great point. Yeah. And then Brown and Tatum. That group's been together a lot, and they have one goal in mind, and that's to win this whole thing.
Yeah, no doubt. You mentioned Marcus Smart. We'll talk about the Grizz a little bit. They lose again. They're 6-17.
And
John Morant's coming back on Tuesday, or at least he's eligible to. We'll see if he plays. Are they just too far back at this point? Jaren Jackson's playing fantastic. He's had 2 40-plus point games. Had a career high 44 last time out. But they're so thin everywhere else. They just, to me, even with Ja coming back, I just don't see this team making any sort of run. I guess they could get into the play-in situation. They're not that far back, but boy, they have got a long ways to go.
Yeah, it may be less about them making it as far as maybe making a difference against teams and making an impact in the standings in that way. Here's where luck comes along. The Kings haven't played them at all. in any of their matchups. Some
That's
teams
true.
maybe have played them 2 or 3 times already,
Yeah.
and you rack up some wins when they're down and out right now. So the Kings didn't get the benefit of that. I know they play him on New Year's Eve, I think the first time. But Jaw's a terrific player. He's going to help. But I think overall it's also missing Adams, Brandon Clark, and a few other injuries too.
No question, all across the board. It's just a lot to deal with. And in the trade too, I thought Tyus Jones, losing him was big. He was really helpful when Jaw missed games in the past couple of seasons. All right, games tonight. Sixers are back in action tonight too. They're blowing out the Hornets. They're at 52 in this game. Embiid 42 and 15. It almost feels like, in a way, Embiid's having a better year so far this year than he had last year.
Yeah, and it's funny because you're hearing more narratives because Jokic is getting triple doubles all the time, and people said, "Oh, it's probably just Jokic fatigue. He probably should have won the MVP last year." And now more people are talking about Jokic again. But Embiid's been just as good, if not better, as you said, as last year.
By the way, did you think Jokic should have been thrown out?
No,
I didn't think so either. I didn't
that
think
was
so.
in Chicago, right?
One technical ejection.
Yeah,
I guess he said the magical words, maybe in Serbian.
Yeah, maybe.
But it didn't seem like enough toward an ejection. And the largest Serbian population outside of Serbia is in Chicago.
Wow.
So a large contingent came out to watch him play. Not that officials can be influenced by that, but they even made it more of a shame.
Yeah, for sure. That was unfortunate earlier this week.
Yeah, I thought so as well. Let's see here. Warriors and Nets right now. Golden State on top at home 36-29. How do you feel? We haven't had a chance to talk about it just amongst us, but what do you think the Warriors' fate is now without Draymond for who knows how long?
Yeah, I think they're in trouble, and to an extent, and they're already changing some things. Last game they benched, or I say bench, but put Wiggins to the bench. There's some talk about Clay. Like, they're trying some different things because they're a little bit off. I won't say they're completely broken, but Scott, we all know what Draymond means to them on the floor. Now, off the floor, for whatever this indefinite means, I think nobody knows how many games this is going to be. They're in a little bit of a tough spot because they still have Steph Curry playing at just an absurd level.
Sure.
And you want to maximize all that time you have with them, but they sure don't look like a team, even with Draymond, that's going to do that much damage at the end.
No doubt. The 76ers game did go final. They won 135-82. And with the Warriors, I agree. 10-14 right now. I just don't see this team being able to make a run. I mean, maybe they get into the play-in. They're definitely not a playoff team to me. I'm guessing Draymond's going to miss at least 15 or 20 games. It could be more than that. And just for them to even play 500 ball without Draymond is going to be a challenge.
Yeah, I think, we had Sam Amick on our show earlier this week, and I think Sam worded it perfectly. He said, look, I think the league started with just the indefinite saying because nobody knows how many games that is. And I think if they came out with 3, 5, 8, 12, whatever number was in anybody's head, right away there's a judgment on the number. Now the number's gone, and in theory, he could be back this week. I mean, we don't know what indefinite means. We know the first time they did that with John Morant, he got 8 games. He had the second violation with the gun issue, I guess we'll say, and then he got a finite number of 25 games that he's now serving that suspension. So 8 was an open-ended number. We didn't know that. Then they put 8 games on it, and he went through some counseling there. To me, Scott, if this is an anger management thing, I don't know if anybody truly knows. I don't think you can go to one class and you're good. That's something that takes some time. So what is the league comfortable with? What are the Warriors comfortable with? And I don't know that we know that number yet.
I don't know either, but with Klay Thompson struggling, Draymond out, I don't even know if the great Steph Curry can carry them to where they need to get. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right, that's going around the league. Also, our thoughts go out to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He broke his hip.
Yeah, it was
unfortunately, at a concert. So we wish him nothing but the very best. The great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. All right, when we come back, we will focus in on the Jazz. That's the opponent tonight for the Kings. No De'Aaron Fox for Sacramento. The Jazz are going to be without some key pieces, too. We'll get into that when we come back here. It's Game Night being brought to you by Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Check out their full line of luxury vehicles at mbofstockton.com. More of Game Night right here. Sactown Sports 1140.
The 49ers have secured their playoff berth, and now they chase the NFC's top seed.
Purdy out of the shotgun, looks left, throws end zone. Caught! George Kittle in the back of the end zone. Touchdown! San Francisco!
Check out all the 49ers games with Greg Papa and Tim Ryan.
on your home for the playoff-bound 49ers. Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
5 dealerships, 1 location. The Knight Group is now in Elk Grove with Elk Grove Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, Elk Grove Subaru, Acura, Audi, and Volkswagen. If you're searching to service or shop for a new vehicle, Knight has it. Trucks, SUVs, sports cars, hybrids, EVs, you name it, Knight has it. Over 2,000 new and used vehicles to choose from, and the Knight Group makes it easy with expert financing, quick service, and a simple 2-step process to value your trade-in. So start and end your search at KnightHasIt.com. That's KnightHasIt.com.
Hi, this is Henry Turner, aka the High Flyer. I've done a lot of amazing things on the basketball floor, but now it's your turn to be amazing. For more than 55 years, Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Sacramento has helped out the youth beat many odds. Too many littles, especially boys, are still waiting for volunteers, Big Brothers. Volunteers to spend at least 4 to 6 hours a month with local youth who needs guidance and support. So donate your time to Big Brothers and Big Sisters of the greater Sacramento area. Get involved. It's easy as a layup. Call 916-646-9300.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no accounts to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
Discover Roseville's hidden gem, Timbers at the Lodge, nestled in the Timber Creek Golf Course. Savor a culinary journey where every bite tells a story. We serve breakfast 7 days a week with happy hour Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m., where you can relax on the outdoor patio next to our newly renovated and expanded putting green. Thursdays always feature our $28 prime rib dinner. Reservations encouraged. Learn more at timbersatTheLodge.com. We look forward to welcoming you to Timbers at the Lodge, where exceptional food meets great times.
This is Kenny and Jerry from Bell Brothers Plumbing, Heating, and Air. If you're thinking about replacing your heating and cooling system, now's the perfect time to take action. It's Bell Brothers end of the year blowout, and it's happening now. We've got a limited number of high-efficiency furnace, AC, and heat pump systems in our warehouse. And we're offering $2,750 off qualifying systems if you buy between now and the end of the year. No gimmicks, no games, just a great price for buying now. If you got a quote elsewhere, we'd be happy to give you a second opinion. This is one of our best discounts of the year, but you have to hurry. When the systems are gone, the sale is over. Call Bell Brothers for details and get up to $2,750 off any qualifying high-efficiency furnace, AC, or heat pump system. Our number is 916-444-1234 or online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Welcome back into Game Night right here, Sactown Sports 1140. Game Night being brought to you by the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Sacramento. If you're interested in being a volunteer mentor, give them a call, 916-646-9300, or visit bbbs-sac.org to learn all about it. Last segment here, we're going to focus in on the Jazz right now. Joining us, Jason, the longtime voice of the Utah Jazz, David Locke. David, first of all, how many seasons has it been for you now?
15, I think.
15
I don't know if long time.
No, that qualifies.
It does.
Does it?
It's not Gary Gerald length.
No,
but
it's
still
kind of an honor to be like sitting around even Gary territory.
See these notes, like so.
He's the best.
He
you
is
guys
awesome.
checked out at Kicks today?
I know he's always stylish.
He is.
He's got the like Nike Air Force Ones kicking that matches tie, like strong.
He's the best.
Seriously strong.
Yeah, he is.
My wife tells me I wear Jordans all the time. She's like, you're really old for that. I took a picture of Jerry and sent it home tonight. Like,
there you go.
Guess I'm doing this for another 25, 30 years.
That's
huh?
right.
If the G-Man can do it, we can all do it. David, we talked about De'Aaron Fox not playing tonight for the Kings. Can you update us on who's out for the Jazz tonight?
I think our issue is illness.
Yep.
We have the bug flowing through our team. The last word I got was that Talon is going to play, which is important for us.
Sure.
Because of the reason it's important for us is because without Talon and without Keontae, we actually didn't have enough point guards. So I don't know who will start. I know that Chris Dunn would have started it, but maybe Talon, if he can go, will play. And then Colin Sexton, who's been really, really good for his last few games, is really an off ball player. He's really not a point guard. That's not working to his strength. I love our head coach, Will Hardy, has a great phrase. He talks about player superpowers, and you try to figure out how you can best use a player's superpower. Colin Sexton's superpower is playing off ball and attacking. It's not leading the offense and deciding.
How about I know the other night, like it's been off and on with Markkanen, and Collins was sick.
Collins is still sick
Okay.
and out, but Markkanen is back. His was a hamstring issue, and
Okay.
he's super good. If people don't know that. So that helps us a great deal. Without Lowry Markkanen, we can't score. And that's a really important aspect of this game. So we have a hard time scoring. Here's what I think super interesting tonight.
Okay.
So the league average zone possessions a night, you knew I was going numbers, Ross.
Oh,
There's no
yes.
chance on anything else, is 3.
Okay.
Teams play an average of 3. Miami plays the most zone possessions of
Yeah.
anyone in the NBA. They played 10.
Okay.
We played 63 against the Knicks and 56 against Portland.
Wow.
And against De'Aaron Fox and the Kings, that seems like a really big problem because you guys get the ball up the floor so quickly. Gosh, that first half against Oklahoma City was incredible.
Yeah.
That we'll never get set in a zone. But without De'Aaron Fox, are we suddenly going to have a you don't really have a backup point guard unless I've missed it on your roster. You guys might tell me it's someone else.
Keon Ellis had a career high
He's
Thursday
not a
night.
point guard, though, I don't think. So you now are going to have a guy on the floor who suddenly has to decide, like, are they in a zone? Are they in a 1-3-1? Are they in a 2-3? Are they in a box and one? Like, we literally, Colin Sexton guarded Jalen Brunson to the popcorn stand the other night.
Yeah.
Literally all the way down. He went down off the court, down the aisleway, and Colin
illegal.
Sexton guarded.
That's illegal.
It's a foul. They called it was a 3-point play. They did. But he literally did. He guarded him like he took the job very seriously. And so
you have one job.
So I think it's going to be interesting to see tonight what happens. Like, basically, I think your point guard tonight is Domantas, and I'll bet we play box and one on Domantas Sabonis at some point tonight with a guard.
Interesting.
And then, like, what do you do? And so I think there'll be you're way better than we are, but I think there'll be an interesting little game here that you can't be as quick as you usually are without Fox. And so then that actually plays into the Jazz being able to get into this funky, weird defensive thing they like to do.
And I wonder, Scott Monk sometimes is the decision maker.
Sure, Monk
Not a
plays
true
as much
point guard,
point as anybody else
but
who's out there.
But he's a decision maker.
In my opinion, watching him, I'm a fan, but he falls a little bit into my Colin Sexton
Could be.
thing. Like, if
Yeah.
you're going to use his superpower, it's not making him make a bunch of decisions. It's letting him play. Like, he's gotten better at it, but let him play.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right, we're just a couple minutes here. We were talking about trades as we panicked after losing to the Clippers around here. Toronto, Chicago, all mentioning possibly moving players. Do you think Lauri Markkanen will be with the Jazz when the season's over with?
Yeah.
You know why?
Why?
Because he's 7'1". He shoots 40% from 3. He averages like 8 boards.
Yeah.
He can come off screens. And you know how many other players in the league can do that? That are that combination?
Yeah.
One. And his name's Kevin Durant. And he's better at those things than Lauri Markkanen. And he can play off the bounce in a way Lowry can't. So I'm not about to tell you that Lauri Markkanen is Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
But what I'm telling you is that is the amount of 7'1" players that can play off the ball and shoot 40% from 3 in the NBA. So when you have one of them, you don't move them. I mean, unless you guys want to give us so we'll take your 29, 31, 33, and 35 first-round picks unprotected.
That's what it'll take?
Yeah.
We'll have to think about that on the next game night.
But wait a sec. Wait. Why?
There's more.
No, but we might need a player or two because of salaries. But would you do it? Like, think about it. 4 unprotected picks.
And
those
years
years,
from now? Oh, yeah.
it might win you a championship now. Lowry would probably win you a championship. Him playing off the ball with Domantas might win you a championship.
We will talk about that the next time we have a chance to have you on, David. We've got to wrap up game night here. Jason staying for Kings Live. Pre-game, the G-Man's here as well. David, great to talk to you. Always good to have you on the show. That's going to do it for game night. Coming up next, Kings Live pregame. Kings and Jazz tonight. Keep it tuned all evening long right here on Sactown Sports 1140. Have a great night.
Keegan Murray plays here.
Keegan scores another three-pointer. Keegan Murray knocking it down for 23 points. Match De'Aaron Fox for game scoring honors.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with primetime football. It's back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game and high-hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game, offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com, and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Kevin Lewis with National Garage Door, reminding you that in Sacramento, National Garage Door is the king of garage doors. We service, sell, and install garage doors and openers. Call us today for your basketball special. A new 16x7 Rainer garage door with insulation and a belt drive opener for only $24.49 installed. Give us a call today, 916-638-4554.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
With RT Painting, our name says it all. We are a reliable and trusted commercial and residential painting company, serving the Sacramento area since 1998. Employee-owned, our attention to detail is second to none. Put our decades of experience serving our community to use for you. Get a free quote today. Call us at 916-900-8112. That's 916-900-8112. Or go online to rtpainting.com. That's rtpainting.com. RT Painting, your trusted and reliable painting contractor of choice.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sactown Sports' IMAX Pass by visiting SactownSports.com and sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's film at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you find the right customers. Spread awareness of your product or services. We can help build trust in your brand and services with a digital marketing campaign. Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing campaigns that deliver results. Don't wait. Get started today. Contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results.
Beam Team. Whether the night sky is beaming purple or not, stick to the Go Safely game plan. Celebrate a sober ride home. That's always a win. If you're the designated sober driver, be mindful of highway workers and obey all highway traffic signs. Remember to move over a lane when you see amber flashing lights on Caltrans, law enforcement, or other emergency vehicles and tow trucks. If you can't move over safely, slow down and be work zone alert. Go Safely, California, from the California Office of Traffic Safety and Caltrans.
Slowed down, held back, inhibited. What you get out depends on what you put in. Rejuvenate your engine's performance with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline, because true performance knows no bounds. New and improved Shell V-Power Nitro Plus removes up to 100% of performance-robbing deposits to rejuvenate your engine's performance. Continuous use in gasoline direct injection engine fuel injectors.
When you wake up well-rested on a great mattress, everything becomes clear.
I do make everything about me.
Things you missed when you were tired finally reveal themselves.
My passport is in the pocket of the duffel bag I took to Mexico.
At Mattress Firm, we know the right mattress matters. We also know that price does too. So if you see a lower price somewhere else, we'll match it. Plus, you get free and fast delivery. Shop in-store or online at mattressfirm.com. The right mattress matters. We'll find yours. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
We all do a little trash talk on the court, but now it's time to call out some real trash. Litter. Let's block litter and other pollutants like bacteria, auto fluids, and yard chemicals from entering our waterways.